post that they work for TCS, Infosys, Cognizant.
Right.
It probably fetches the better dowry. It gives them a good upfront salary. While this is all admirable and great stuff, I mean, you come in Sector 5 in Salt Lake, I mean, really great buildings and everything. Now, that kind of brings me back to the Silicon Valley where I worked for several years. I mean, people there used to love, they used to look to work in startups. And most of these startups, the startups we talk about today, like Hewlett-Packard, HP, Sun Microsystems, Microsoft even, Google, all the big startups, all of them are garage startups, even Apple, all of them started from the garage. And really garage, I mean real garage,
exactly.
Not like garage as in a word, a colloquialism.
Practical.
And, obviously they didn't start with as much glamour and like the show like TCS or Infosys, but the reason, I mean, I also worked in startups, in several startups in the Silicon Valley, and initially, of course, I didn't understand going from Bengal. I mean, the one thing I looked for, how was my salary? And the first startup I worked with, my salary was higher than that of the CEO. But in the end, the guy who actually took a much lower salary, almost half of my salary, but took more stock options, he ended up way more richer than I was. Because I was a salary oriented, but that is, I think, the lesson that someone needs to go there and tell these people, look, you may work with these startups, great companies, nothing wrong with them, but your growth is going to go in a linear path. Nobody in the world can change that. But if you are in a startup, and if that startup does well, your growth will be, like a logarithmic scale. I have personally seen people who were attending the Java user group in San Francisco, who were 25 years old, and he's taking a vacation in Hawaii, and he has already retired from his job because he has made several millions from his startup. And this is not the one guy I've seen several such guys. Under 30 guys owning $1 million homes and pretty much all set with their lives. I mean, this is the kind of value that you can get from startups, if they're of course good. And that is not what you're going to get with the big companies. Nothing wrong with them. I mean, people like to work there. So, I guess someone needs to tell them. I mean, the ecosystem needs to develop about the mentality of working in startups versus working in well-developed and established companies.
Would you like to add on something?
This is exactly what we are trying to do in our ERPC. We have been trying to reach out. And this was like very successful till 2010 end. Even I had been with Ajisa for 2 months. Even 2 other students from our institute is with Ajisa. Right now I am with Web Prachar. We are trying to convince people, make them understand, work with them through the basics and get them build their own business plan, get into technologies which they are not much aware of, and develop their skills to their own startups someday. So this is our endeavor. We are still trying to do, even if everything goes well.